3. Page 3, it says that
Where?
the top, the discussion, Liz's discussion, it says the legal opinion ruled that the intent was to allow the maximum footprint to be 400 SF. She was, fully states, she stated that it would be residential. Liz stated another issue is the 400 square foot footprint versus .20 coverage. The land development code refers to .20 coverage. Mayor said the reason the 4,000, they didn't want huge buildings, that was the reasoning. Attorney stated that the .2 coverage was to be removed from the land development code because of the conflict. The legal opinion ruled that the intent was to allow the maximum footprint to be 400 square feet. 4,000, thank you.
So what's wrong with any of that?
Well, Liz just said that she didn't, the points that it was, she was giving P&Z's report, for one thing, and she doesn't recall the attorney stating that a legal opinion ruled over what she was stating during the discussion.
Article, and then we're gonna change the code.
Yeah, that's what he said, say that. Yes, go ahead, Debbie.
That is exactly what the attorney
Yes,
said.
exactly.
We have had this discussion in the past, in 2012 and 2013 and 2014 and 2015, because we've been working on this for that long. And that conflict has been pointed out, that 20% of your land for land coverage versus a 4,000 square foot.
Know this because she was bringing up, she thought she was bringing up a problem that P&Z found in what was being proposed, and that's what she was talking about.
Amending it costs a lot of money to connect. So we had a bunch of land development regulations put into one ordinance. And it actually also restrictions. But as far as how we apply it, and the code was to apply it, and get 4,000 square feet. As I understand, these things that apply, still do get changed to make it. But, you know, big fan of amending the land development regulation or anything, doing a bunch in one ordinance, so we don't have to pay, I don't know how much it is to advertise the ordinance, but each time we do that, it costs a lot of money. So that's what we're waiting for, just a bunch of land development regulations, so we can amend it.
So apparently P&Z has been discussing this too.
In the past, they have, yes. For the past year, they've been talking about sign code, so they haven't been talking about this.
They actually discussed this, Liz said, so.
So what did Liz say for you to say?
She just said that her report was addressing the future land use code, was asked by mayor to put off to the public hearing when, she's got up to give the PZ report. So it wasn't her personally getting up, and that the clarifications and concerns that P&Z should be noted as such, and she also did not recall the attorney stating that he disagreed with her. So that was what she
I would only say if that was indeed a P&Z concern, then I would have got a memo from Deneen saying P&Z reviewed this and these are their concerns. That's how it
Well,
typically
she
happens.
said that they discussed it at the P&Z meeting. I worked at the time, so I missed that portion. I think you were at the meeting.
The table was, there was an ordinance years ago that came to council, and just like the lawyer said, that it was put on hold. It was the minimum size of the house. There's like 6 things in one ordinance, but we can't change until we get legal again, and then we can change.
So we are basically in agreement with
Yes.
P&Z? Okay.
Well,
Well, that's where,
what's
I don't
in
know.
agreement
that-
is the point 2 is incorrect. The point 2 is incorrect. The
Okay.
4,000 square feet is correct, and it's the 4,000 square feet is in the words in the section. In the correct section, it does say 4,000 square.
But the 4,000 square foot it applies to a lot, whether it's 20,
Yeah.
Footprint of the building,
yeah.
okay, whether whether the lot is 20,000 square feet or 5 acres. They can only have a 4,000 square foot footprint.
Right.
And the council discussion and P&Z discussion, if I'm recalling correctly, was that when they decided to expand RLC from just US 1 and allow some along Malabar and potentially Babcock, they didn't want to open it up to a Walmart. They wanted a small footprint. So even though you might have large parcels on Malabar Road, if you were going to build an RLC, you were going to be limited to 4,000. That's why Route 1 Motorsports had to ask for the rezoning.
Okay.
Suffice to say, it's gonna go back to P and Z when we get it all figured out, and they'll get to look at it, and we'll get to look at it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Motion carried 3-1.
Oh, I did it at another point. No, I can't do it.
We'll move on to the sheriff's report.
How are you all this evening? I actually have August. I don't think last time the Lieutenant Klein was here, he had the August report, so I'll go over that real quick. We responded to 11 alarm residences. That could have been somebody in the town that's having a problem with their alarm. I can't really tell you if it was the same house or not. You had 2 burglaries within the confines of the town. We responded to 15 suspicious vehicles, which seems a little high, but that's actually good that people are calling us that someone's driving around looks suspicious, so that's a good thing. We conducted 9 traffic enforcement details, which resulted in 28 traffic stops, and you did have 1 stolen vehicle in the town, and we served 6 warrants, which is a little high for this your town. I guess we're cleaning it up. So we had a total of 220. This is in blue, so I can't really see it with the light. 228 total calls in August for service within the town. In September, we had only 1 burglary in the entire town. Again, we responded to 11 suspicious people and 13 suspicious vehicles, which is a good thing. That means people are calling us if they see something that doesn't look right. We did 12 traffic enforcement details with 25 traffic stops for a total of 175 calls within the town for service. And I don't have anything out of the ordinary or that I've heard about that I needed to share with you all unless you all had something.
Any progress on solving burglaries?
No, a lot of those, I haven't heard of anything or seen anything to pass on. Having said that, the agents get those cases and they can take months, and sometimes, something will pop up where all of a sudden you start solving a lot of them. So I will tell you what's nice. Yeah, we've had one recently over in it was actually over in the Atlantic area, but I'm not really sure why. It was one of those deals where a bunch of cars got broken into, no one called us. Someone talked to the neighbor and he checked his video system, and here he had video of everyone who was breaking into the cars, and they actually identified the guy and solved a whole bunch of cases. Usually it's something like that coming along. But again, I encourage everybody to call us when there's something going on, so we know what's going on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll move on to the attorney's report.
Real quick. Painted Acre litigation. It was set for trial for early of next year, and the plaintiff hasn't done anything, just let it sit. So our defense counsel is going to file a motion to strike it from the docket. Okay, from what I see is going on, this is my opinion, they're doing enough just to keep it alive, which means they only have to do one thing every year. Okay, so that looks like that's what they're doing. So that's probably going to get taken off the docket, and they'll probably file another request for trial. It'll get put on again, and then we'll see what happens then. Otherwise, all's right.
Any questions? Thank you. All right, move on to staff reports. Doug,
Nothing this evening.
any questions for Doug? Move on to Cuthbert?
I have nothing.
All right. Move on to Tom. Public Works.
Good evening.
Evening.
Okay. Got a few things here on the list today. About three weeks ago, we got our new grade all in. Thank you very much for the purchase. We have about 40 hours on it so far. It's fantastic. It's nice. The size of the machine is great. We can get it in and out of places we can never get the other one in and out of. All the main right-of-ways on Quarry, Cole, Axe, and Weber, and the Boulder bus stops from mowed as requested. Take care of that.
Looks good.
Thanks. We got 2 new employees. One started last week and one started today. So we're back up to 4. And our previous employee, Billy, is not coming back. He's got to have shoulder surgery again. So we will be hiring another employee. The ditch on Marie Street was all cleaned out from Gladder all the way down the hall. We started the pipe job on Marie Street by Gladder. We put 60 feet of pipe in, and we found the bigger problem that was done in 2007. The joints are leaking and the pipe was put in wrong. It's got a very big hump in it. I got a photograph of it if anybody would like to see it. It's a little dark, it's hard to see, but it's there.
You want me to pass it around?
You can see one of the joints has got over a 6-inch gap in it. It's leaking. And when the pipe was put in on the extension, it's got a big hump in it. So it's holding it back about 18 inches of water where that ditch never drains. The projects that are being scheduled, tomorrow we're starting to finish that project right there. I'm not too sure how it's going to go. We're going to open up the manhole again and see what's going on. After that, we're going to finish the head walls on Gladder Road. We're going to fix Oakmont. There was a little mishap with the road grader. We have to replace some grass. And we'll be moving on to the whole project after that. That's about it.
The right-of-ways look real good.
Okay.
When we talked the other day, any idea how long it took or how many man-hours to do what we've done so far?
They finished all their paperwork for the week, and I will calculate all their hours.
Yeah.
But we had the big tractor out mowing too, which is because the grass was way too tall
Right.
in some spots. So
Well, I saw, just driving down Axe tonight, I mean, it looked pretty nice.
Yeah.
So, and I understand there were people worried that too much time would be spent on that instead of drainage. So I was just
Yeah,
keep
I'll
an
have-
eye on it.
I'll have the exact amount of hours that it would take.
Okay.
Thanks. Calculate, within a couple hours.
And John's still working with us, so that he'll execute himself?
Yeah. That's why we call him Sparky now.
Oh, good. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
On Kramer, did you all run out of material and are you gonna finish the north end of Kramer? The last 3 houses, the grading wasn't completed.
It's a little hard to turn that machine around down that end. That's why there's a gap. It doesn't really fit.
Oh, okay, well,
When I put the box, we have one tractor right now that's being repaired in John Deere. When
uh-huh,
we get it back, we'll put the box blade back on it, and then we'll finish the ends of the chute that I can't get to.
okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, move on to public comments.
I
Brian?
can do it at the end or now, whatever you,
Dan?
yeah, it doesn't matter, whichever you choose.
Well, it's not an agenda item, you can go in.
Brian Dale, 2700 Smith Lane. Just curious as to where we're at with DOT. I know we've had a couple DOT presentations. Somebody mentioned something to me the other day. They asked me, what about the traffic lights? So I'm sure the traffic lights are going to have something to do with the widening, and the potential thereof. But if the widening isn't until 2025, they were asking if there was anything further on the traffic lights and where we were at in the progression of the DOT presentations and what they intend to do and when they intend to do it. So, I couldn't answer all their questions. I could come in here and talk to staff, but I just wanted to kind of throw it out there to council, maybe stir the pot a little bit, maybe get DOT, communicate with DOT regarding the traffic lights, and if they can happen before the widening, or if they're gonna hold us back to the widening. There's been even more accidents in the last month. There's been at least 3 or 4 accidents between Weber and Corey. Again, I don't believe there was any fatalities, but it's something somebody asked me to do, so I'm asking my council to investigate that. Thank you.
I can give you a little bit of answers that we were given safety money for immediate that was going to put a lane, middle turning lane off of 514 onto Corey and Weber. And they were going to do that project before now. And that got shifted because we didn't really want them. And now Matt said at the last meeting, or 2 meetings ago, he mentioned that he said that that's back on the possibility. So it might not be lights, but at least there's immediate money available to do something. And I think that we should, my opinion is that we should improve our end of Corey and Weber at the same time if that money comes through and they do improve, because sometimes you can take advantage of something that's already being in progress.
Well, as I understand it, help me out here, Tony. In order to put the center lane in, they won't come our lane. And we talked to them and struck the initial deal that they pulled back on. Is that right?
Yes, but in terms of this, excuse me, in terms of signalization, either the 2019 project, which would be a turn lane at Weber, or a center lane, they're not calling it a turn lane, they're now calling it a center lane at Weber and Corey, and the 2045 project, which would be a combination of a 4-lane down to a 3-lane, down to a 2-lane as you go from west to east. None of them call for signalizations at any of the intersections, which I think the consensus, and I'm speculating here a bit, but the consensus here in the town is that signalization at the very minimum of Weber and Corey makes a lot more sense than the proposed roundabouts in the 2045 project. You're correct that we're trying to strike a deal or an arrangement whereby FDOT assists the town with some of its stormwater drainage. And we did have a verbal agreement, then they pulled that back and said no, they weren't going to do anything. And then now they're saying that they can do a portion of it, such as a culvert, a head wall at Fern Creek Sanctuary to control the flow of water, a culvert under State Road 514, and extend it partially down towards the large swale at the end of Stillwater Preserve. Now, I met last week, Thursday evening, with the Homeowners Association at Stillwater, and they're in favor and supporting the culvert down in front of Stillwater Preserve on the town's right-of-way. So we're on the 24th meeting with 2 of the engineers from St. John's Water Management, and we're going to walk down through Fern Creek and take a look at it. They have a very strong covenant and permit with St. John's that clearly defines what they can and can't do in terms of keeping the stream clean. So that's why we want St. John's to go over and take a look at it and see if we can maybe improve that drainage as part of the overall solution. And to back up even further, in the mid-2000, 2007 or 2008, when they did the upgrade on I-95, all of that water is coming off I-95 into the town of Malabar. That wasn't before. And I've talked to St. John's Water Management about that, I've thought about that, and we're trying to see if they can't assist and pick up that water and put it over into the Tillman. They created a similar circumstance up in Vieira, and Vieira took them to court, FDOT lost, and they had to fix that. So we're not ready to go to court, but there is a precedence, and I think FDOT probably doesn't want to go to court again. So, and some of the water coming off I-95 comes down to Fern Creek, so it's impacting that area as well. So it's not just a simple snap your fingers and one and done. There's a number of things that are affecting that area. So that's the long answer.
And in kind of response, I think that maybe after the first of the year, a few of us need to go visit Tallahassee, and FDOT's in DeLand, right?
Oh, yes.
So we need to go to two places and to see twofold problem, the drainage
And I have one other comment.
and the traffic light situation.
And even though I'll be leaving the position of town administrator, it's my intent to continue to work on stormwater here in the town. I feel like I have quite a bit of knowledge about it. I've made a lot of contacts. There are people that are actually trying to cooperate with us now, and we don't want to drop that because I believe stormwater is one of the largest issues in the town.
And on that subject, St. John said they like the idea of going down Corey and it could possibly help us.
Financially.
Yes.
And of course, I've been talking to a lot of people lately, and again, they would settle for a traffic light at Weber over the widening. Yeah, and also, and I'm sure that I've known that to be a consensus throughout the town. We don't need a widening, we need a traffic light, a safe way to get out. And then the other thing regarding the widening, a lot of people I've talked to are in favor of Ladder going east and existing Malabar going west, making 4 full lanes, because all you're doing is you're going 4 to 3 to 2. What are you accomplishing? You're moving.
Right.
Just move the water back.
You're moving it from that point to this point, so.
Can I say something? FDOT does have possible, they put in a possible proposal at Weber for a light. If they put in the light, we don't pay for it. So that's kind of a little bit of a hope, you know?
Okay. All right, just throwing it out there.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah.
If we ask for it, we have to pay for it.
It's their road. Yeah.
We're paying
How
for
we
the
pay
one
for
on US 1.
Okay.
Just for clarification, when we were attempting to get the flashing light in front of the fire station, that was the town's desire, and it would be the town's responsibility to pay for that, even though it's on a state road. So if we had the money we could put a traffic light at both of those intersections.
Don't you remember Mitch Neal getting brought in the light that one time?
Yeah.
Here's your traffic light. I still got a few at home.
I don't remember that, did you? That was his.
Slap in the face.
All right, we'll move on to action items. Resolution 11-2018. Drew Thompson to the Trail and Greenway Committee. Please read by title only.
Resolution of the Town of Malabar, Brevard County, Florida, providing for the appointment of Drew Thompson to the Malabar Trails and Greenways Committee as a regular member, providing for repeal of resolutions or parts of resolutions in conflict herewith, providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve.
I'll move to approve the resolution.
I'll second
Any discussion? All right, do a roll call vote.
Councilmember Ball.
Aye.
Councilmember Mahoney.
Aye.
Councilmember Rivet.
Aye.
Councilmember Corns excused. Councilmember White.
Aye.
Motion carried 4-0.
Move on to resolution 12-2018, Bob Wilbur, Trail and Greenways Committee. Please be by title
A resolution of the Town of Malabar, Brevard County, Florida, providing for the appointment of Robert Bob Wilbur to the Malabar Trails and Greenways Committee as a regular member, providing for repeal of resolutions or parts of resolutions in conflict herewith, providing for an effective date.
I'll make it approve. I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call vote.
Councilmember Ball,
Aye.
Councilmember Mahoney,
Aye.
Councilmember Rivet,
Aye.
Councilmember Corn is excused, Councilmember White.
Aye.
Motion carried 4-0.
Move to resolution 13-2018, Anna Lee Harvey, Trail and Greenways Committee. Please read by title only.
A resolution of the Town of Malabar, Brevard County, Florida, providing for the appointment of Anna Lee Harvey to the Malabar Trails and Greenways Committee as a regular member, providing for the repeal of resolutions or parts of resolutions in conflict herewith, providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilmember Ball,
Aye.
Councilmember Mahoney,
Aye.
Councilmember Rivet,
Aye.
Councilmember Corn is excused, Councilmember White.
Aye.
Motion carried 4-0.
Move to resolution 14-2018, Vicky Thomas, Park and Recreation Board. Please read by title only.
A resolution of the Town of Malabar, Brevard County, Florida, providing for the appointment of Vicki Thomas to the Malabar Parks and Recreation Board as a regular member, providing for repeal of resolutions or parts of resolutions in conflict herewith, providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve.
I'll move to approve the resolution.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilmember Ball,
Aye.
Councilmember Mahoney,
Aye.
Councilmember Rivet,
Aye.
Councilmember Corn is excused, Councilmember White.
Aye.
Motion carried 4-0.
Move to resolution 15-2018, Doug Dial, Planning and Zoning Board. Please read by title only.
A resolution of the Town of Malabar, Brevard County, Florida, providing for the appointment of Doug Dial to the Malabar Planning and Zoning Board as a regular member, providing for the repeal of resolutions or parts of resolutions in conflict herewith, providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve.
Aye. I approve.
I'll second.
Motion to approve.
Any discussion?
Wait a
Roll call
minute.
vote.
Wait a minute.
I
Councilmember Mahoney
motion
made
to
the motion.
approve.
And who made the
I
second?
second it. Ball.
Okay. Councilmember Ball,
Aye.
Councilmember Mahoney,
Aye.
Councilmember Rivet,
Aye.
Councilmember Corn is excused, Councilmember White.
Aye.
Motion carried 4-0.
Move to resolution 16-2018, Doug Hoy, new to Planning and Zoning Board. Please read by title only.
A resolution of the Town of Malabar, Brevard County, Florida, providing for the appointment of Doug Hoyt to the Malabar Planning and Zoning Board as a regular member, providing for repeal of resolutions or parts of resolutions in conflict herewith, providing for an effective date. Mr. Chair, I made a mistake. That would be an appointment as an alternate.
Correct.
I just read this out loud for the first time.
Alternate.
Yeah, he would be appointed as an alternate member.
Okay, I move to approve as adjusted.
Okay.
I'll second
Any discussion?
Aye.
I have a question. For the record, this takes effect after he's no longer
Correct.
correct, just so we know that.
Same thing you did with Wayne Avery, when he went from.
Correct.
Yeah, because there's a conflict with the planning and zoning, that they have to, just for the record, that you have to be not on another, you can't be
Right.
staff and be on the board, so.
Yeah, and the attorney pointed that out, and I did change the original, I just didn't go back and rescan and remake copies, but it does say the resolution shall take effect on November 9th, 2018.
But I did want to state, like, because when I was looking over this, I was like, well, Doug can start now, but maybe he can formulate a roads and drainage committee under P&Z, because we could use that, which could be put in place and continue. But then I also, yeah, well, and also because Andy put in his, Andy could start next Wednesday, which would be great, as we could use another hand to sign the ordinance, the sign ordinance completed. We could use another hand actually getting the sign ordinance done, so I was thinking that might be a good thing as well. What do you guys think about that? About Andy being put on P and Z?
No. No. We do it in the order of the way the applications come in. So Doug's was here. This came after the packet was sent out. So it's,
Got no problem.
no, you can't just throw a name in the hat at the end of the day. There's an order, and he was on the agenda that was set on Tuesday. And this came after.
It came on Thursday.
After the agenda was sent out, so.
I don't know that there's any rule that says that you can't do that.
No, it's up to the
It's-
council to decide.
But that's the way we do it.
Historically.
Yes.
So it's up to council to decide.
All right. This is resolutions on the board. So,
We have a motion and a
and we have a
second.
motion and a second. Any other discussion? All right, we'll do a roll call vote.
Councilmember Ball,
Aye.
Councilmember Mahoney,
Aye.
Councilmember Ribbit,
Aye.
Councilmember Corn is excused, Councilmember White.
Aye.
Motion carried 4-0.
Move to resolution 17, 2018, approving a 3-year interlocal agreement with Brevard County for administration of the Malabar Stormwater Program. Please read my title only.
A resolution of the Town of Malabar, Brevard County, Florida, providing for council approval of the 3-year interlocal agreement with Brevard County for stormwater program administration and management, providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve.
I'll move to approve. I'll second.
Any discussion?
I've got some questions on this. We're gonna go with this, just to discuss it. We're doing this because it's more financially expedient to us to do this than trying to do it in-house. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
So we all agree that it would be a monumental task and an expensive one if we tried to do it in-house. And this is a better deal, even though it's not the deal we had before.
Well, it's not the deal we had before, that's correct. And it's a better deal for the staff.
Okay.
Go ahead, Doug.
Okay. This is sort of a, no matter what you do, it's not the right decision. First, we were able to reduce the amount of cost that we were paying Brevard County to administer this program. And I fully agree with the attorney that we couldn't even begin to administer this program in-house. The thing that I find irritating is that we still have the same number of homes, we still have the same number of residents. The only change has been is that we've increased our stormwater fee. So I don't see how Brevard County can want to charge us more money for doing the same work that they did last year. So that's my objection to this. Could we do this in-house for whatever? No, absolutely not. We're just not getting the deal that we did. So I guess I would have to recommend that we approve it, but with reservation.
On Exhibit A shows the employee rates of the people that charge us. It's in the packet. So those are reasonable. You know, like I was thinking if the town did it, we'd have to hire people. And I don't know if you could hire for this amount of money in Exhibit A. The other thing is on page 4, it says participation in the stormwater education outreach interlocal agreement billed at a rate of 35 cents a person. So I don't understand.
I believe that's per resident.
Well, they say per person based on the 2014 municipal population data.
Right.
So, but we're charging, we upped it, right, to 52. Like-
No, that's 35 cents, pennies per person in our population based on the 2014 population. That money is used for public outreach, which the
Okay.
county does for us as well.
Okay. So this is out.
Yeah, my only question with that was, before it was a fixed fee, we knew what it was. And now it's like, well, we think it's gonna cost this much, so there's no guarantee that it's gonna cost that much, right?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Carolina Alvarez is here from the county, and she came specifically to answer any of your
Okay.
questions. So I don't wanna put her on the spot, but, you know, I did say in my agenda report that what we budgeted and what her estimate is, and if it comes out to be more than what we budgeted, then we, you know, handle that with a budget amendment.
Yeah, I was gonna say exactly the same thing.
Okay.
Do you want Carolina to?
Is there any questions?
Okay,
Yes, not.
okay.
All right, any other discussion?
Thank you for coming.
Any other discussion? All right, we'll do a roll call vote.
Okay. Councilmember Ball,
Aye.
Councilmember Mahoney,
Aye.
Councilmember Ribbit,
Aye.
Councilmember Corn is excused, Councilmember White,
Aye.
motion carried 4-0.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right, short night.
It's a good meeting. See, the long agendas go faster than those one page.
Well, that's because Corn's not here.
I will be down there the next Monday.
Okay.
Georgia.
Happy hunting.
Thank you.
Go Gators. All right, move on to discussion of coastal preservation land use along Indian River Lagoon. Grant?
Bromley, Grand Ball, 1190 US 1. We're about to embark upon this Indian River Lagoon thing, or possibly, which just for discussion tonight. But the property to the east of US 1 has had a coastal preservation on, which means if you have that property, you cannot build on that property. You can only have a dock. And we've had a request to change that and make a amendment to that to allow commercial development along there. Now, the reason I'm speaking from here is because I'm one of the people who own land along there, that you can own the land, you can pay the taxes at a fairly high rate, but we won't let you do anything with it because it's coastal preservation. And I'm here to say, if it was that we were going to allow for some of these properties to be built around here, that should be something that we consider what we're doing to the people that own the land, but I want you to also keep in mind what you're doing if we decide to do this, what you're doing to the look of Malabar. Are we going to allow somebody to build like they've done in Grant Valcaria? So I want everybody to consider that as you're making a decision. I obviously can't vote on it because I would be affected, but you know, we've got a situation where we've got a beautiful view of the water. Do we want to let somebody to put something in front of it? And if it was me and you change it, I would probably think about building something there. So I want to talk right now from just a citizen standpoint to take into consideration all of the ramifications of making that change. And you know, there's good and bad on both sides of it, and how we're going to go forward from here. I would recommend that we go to planning and zoning after this, but I want to hear what the other comments are, and I'll reply it. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say on the report, I asked Debbie to go down. I was going to help, but she never called, so thank you. Was to go down the coastline and find out any parcels that were greater than .2, because .2 is the minimum size lot you can have something with. It's got to be with a 20,000 square foot. So it comes out to be 12 parcels that are .14 to .25. There's 13 parcels up to .18. And then there's 6 parcels that are .1 to half acre on the south. So I was trying to get that map there on 11 by 17 so you could actually see the parcels. So we'll get that for the
Yeah.
next time. But that's the reason, like what Grant said is, there are a few of the parcels that, exceed the .2, so they could legitimately put something out there. So that's, that would help some people, that have that, or hurt the people across the street, that don't want something out there. Steve?
Yeah, the use of the land is going to result in increased tax dollars, for the town, reducing the load on residents. I think it makes sense if we can figure out some way that we can do that in a low impact way. I mean, I don't want to block the view of the river, probably no 3-story buildings on that, those kind of parcels, but I would certainly be willing to, listen to what P&Z has to say about limitations, but I think it makes sense to go ahead and allow some development on those parcels.
I was under the impression that this property that was east of 1, okay, was actually owned by the people of a comparable lot west of 1. But
Not all of them.
And so my concern would be the individual, okay? If, say, Grant wanted to build in front of his house, well, that's Grant's business. But if somebody wants to build in front of your house and you have no say-so over it, and you've owned that property for decades possibly, and for the beautiful view, you don't want to lose it regardless of, and I agree with you, Steve, it's a great source of revenue, but I think it has to be weighed against the concern for the resident.
Well, and I agree that has to be
Yeah.
one of the top priorities.
And can we control that in any way?
Well, the present zoning is CP, and across the west side would be what I would expect the east side to be. So if it's RLC on the west side, then RLC would go to the east side. And then CG would be CG. I'm thinking just keep it to what's on the west side.
Yeah.
Well, something that I stated,
Consistent.
it is going to change the look of the town of Malabar. And that's the bigger issue you have to make. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to change the character of the town of Malabar for that corridor on US 1?
Because there's so many places in this country where you can drive right alongside the ocean and never even see it. I mean, it's just so built up.
And that's what
We don't,
I'm
obviously,
pointing
we
out.
don't want that.
Yeah.
And if you go to our last page in our packet, I wondered how this all started. So the last page in the packet is March 21st, 1974, was when the council then decided to come up with this. But there, like Debbie said before, coastal preservation is a subset of coastal management. And she put the map of coastal management, well, not really, I guess you had it.
Yeah, it's in everybody's packet. I just made color copies for the people with the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me read that paragraph.
Yeah, I didn't get into this
Here,
one.
pass it around.
You got black and white ones.
Huh?
You got black and white ones.
Here's what they said in 74. The coastal riverfront along US 1 shall not be further developed from the north to the south boundary of Malabar, period.
You did it?
Unless we want to change it.
So, anyway, so that's where the coastal preservation came from. It's from a master plan that was coastal management. But I bet, like Debbie said before, if you go up and down our Indian River, we're probably the only town or city or village that has adopted this as coastal preservation.
you know what, maybe that's appropriate, but again, I'd like to have, you know, P and Z look at it.
And I believe that that's what we should do, is take it easy before we go any further with this.
All right, any other discussion?
What I did, just to let the public know, what you can do is you can go to property appraisers and you can just take your cursor right over and it goes from one property to the next and you can see the amount of acreage and all of those kind of things. And I've actually been to a house that was on the water near here, that a huge building is in front of now. So it does need to be really carefully planned, so.
So I'm inclined to help Stuart out with Yellow Dog Cafe with what he wants to do. It's in front of his property, okay? It's along with his business, but how do we keep that under control?
Right.
Okay, so,
And again, we don't want to do something for one person, let's see what's right for the town.
yeah.
Because if you open that door, then the next person that wants to do it says, well, you did it for him. And so you can't do it for one person because you'll just domino it.
And it seems like when we've had a certain zoning for a house or a place, it kind of can be changed pretty quickly, just by somebody requesting. That's what's happened in our town.
But it'd be almost impossible to do coastal preservation.
Well, that's why I'm saying this one seems to be a little bit stronger, whereas whatever it gets changed to, if it got changed, I just kind of am suspicious of it being able to be controlled.
Land use and zoning changes all require the same steps.
This-
And
this
it's a
is
public
one.
hearing at P and Z and a public hearing at council, 30 days posting, and everyone within 500 feet get a first-class letter notification, and there's a legal ad in the paper. So there should be nothing suspicious about it. This one is a little more sensitive because it's on your coastline. And it's up to you to decide how you want your coastline to be developed. But it's also your responsibility to take care of the entire coastal management element, which encompasses so much more than just what you do on your coastline. And that was the point I was trying to make to you. It's not just a P and Z decision. It's you guys sitting legislatively that have to incorporate the statutory requirements for coastal management.
Okay, so I guess I can entertain a motion to move this topic onto planning and zoning.
I would move to put it to planning and zoning.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Debbie, all I ask is that we get a detailed map like that has the lots, so they can see the
Well,
lots.
that one is, it's just kind of grainy. That came today, but
Yeah.
it
No, I
doesn't
like,
have the,
like this one, it's just black and white.
okay.
Yeah, and it
Oh, I forgot about
defines,
that.
it
Yeah.
defines the lots.
Yeah, they're all defined here. They're just,
Okay, I can't see it.
they're not enough.
It looks like a
pixels.
topographical.
Yeah, it is the aerial.
I like that.
Get it black and white.
Sorry.
Okay.
All right, any other discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried, 4-0.
No,
Three.
I didn't vote.
Oh, you didn't?
I can't
3-0.
vote.
Oh, that's
No,
right, 3-0,
3-0.
sorry. All right. We move on down to reports. Laura?
Okay, again, I do appreciate the citizen involvement and the time they take with me pointing out various issues that need to be addressed. There's so much to learn, and I do appreciate each citizen taking the time to point out their expertise and put into layman's terms so that I can understand these issues. First and foremost, communication of what the town is doing and has done would help alleviate a lot of citizen frustration and lack of confidence in town affairs. A few points that citizens have made in the last 2 weeks that maybe being addressed are, and the first one to Kramer, that was addressed, and thank you, Tom and Lori, for a response. And second one, town council and P&Z, not knowing about drainage projects that are going on in town. I forgot to ask the attorney this one. Did the attorney know of the mailer and financial assessment on Flashy? Did the town attorney get a letter about the assessment done on Flashy?
No, he didn't need to. That was merely a question.
Okay, so
There was no assessment being made. It was just a question to see, take a poll of the citizens to see if they were interested in having culverts put in or not. And if you read the letter.
I did read it,
Um,
but I guess I didn't understand that a maximum expected cost if your property was 200 feet front foot. But it did have the question if somebody wanted to participate or not participate, so I thought it was being done, whether.
In order for culverting to be good, 66 and a third, 2/3 percentage of the citizens on a given area to say that they're in favor or not in favor. So that would be the start of the process. If in fact we did have a majority, then we would contact each of the homeowners individually and tell them what the expected cost would be, and then we would move from there. This is a long process. This was just the start.
It would probably help if us as council knew that that was happening, so that we would know when because I didn't know about it, and that's pretty much the assessment of the planning and zoning people. They didn't know about it.
I
So-
believe it's something that planning and zoning should be concerned about. It's a stormwater.
I think it's concerning to a lot of
And it's a
citizens.
stormwater project that we talked about with council for probably 6 or more months. The Hall Road Flashy Lane project, we're just trying to wrap this project up. And if you recall Tom's comments this evening, he delineated the items that he was going to work on, and Hall Road was one of them. Now, I would be remiss, in my opinion, if we didn't at least ask the people in Flashy Lane, and that's all this was. This was just a question, if they were interested in having culverts put in front of their house or not. And if they were, then we would go through the rest of the steps.
That's basically where they buy the materials.
They would buy the culvert,
Right.
we would buy the catch basins, and we're going to recontour the ditch anyway. So it's a matter of kicking the pipe in the hole and filling it up. They would win because, in all probability, their value of their home would increase when they get ready to sell it. Secondly, in front of their property would just plain and simply look nicer. Thirdly, we wouldn't have to be as concerned about getting the ditch cleaned out through normal siltation, and the town would benefit as well because of the same situation. We wouldn't have to be continually out there digging. So this was just taking a poll or a question of the citizens who was in that area, since we're starting that project shortly.
Well, there was questions about how certain, like the culverts on Atts get paid for by the people or by, like if it's going to be done one way for one owner compared to another way for another owner, that would be kind of, we need to keep things the same for every owner because every person pays taxes.
I disagree. I believe the determination of whether we replace a culvert or not, if it only benefits the single homeowner, then that's the homeowner's responsibility. If it benefits a large number of people, which it really has, then that's just part of normal maintenance.
Yeah.
So, do you understand the
Well,
distinction?
that's why I said who exactly benefits and why are some people assessed, yet other similar type projects are paid for with public funds. I guess this would be something to kind of question our stormwater being, I have one list copy that will go in the folder that is not published to the public, yet the public is welcome to come in and personally view. You know, with Jeff McKnight's questions to P&Z. I got those this evening. And then, you know, make it public record just because I think that people should be informed that there's a little bit of question about
Do you
that.
live on Flashy?
I do not.
Okay. Do you want to pay for Flashy's culverts?
I want whatever is fair from one person to be the same that's fair for the other person. I'm not really so certain as to, I think this would have to be a question to.
Let me say something.
Okay.
Okay, Flashy Lane is a lane, and Flashy Lane, and Flashy Lane only has a certain amount of people on it.
Yes.
Okay, the project that was done on Axe is a whole southeast corridor of Malabar.
Right.
So many people get the benefit of what we do on Axe Lane. Only people in Malabar that benefit for Flashy Lane are Flashy Lane. So that's
Are you sure of that? Because that's what I wasn't even sure of, even by the questions, exactly, because I
Well,
didn't know
I'm
if
just-
it's
I'm just
relieving
saying.
drainage.
So I disagree with Jeff McKnight's statement that he's being singled out, you know, because he lives on a lane, and why do I gotta pay when they did Axe, and Axe is for a whole neighborhood, the whole south, east corridor of Malabar.
Well, that's where I'm not sure, because drainage isn't going exactly in the ditches. I mean, sometimes when you relieve drainage on a lane, it might be draining people's property that is flat, you know. We've got a lot of different drainage problems.
Well, I have the books at home. I can research which way the water flows on his street, if you want me to tell you that.
Well,
I'll
we
pretty
know
much
that-
guarantee it
that-
flows south.
We pretty much know that in that end of town, there's just a lot of water. So.
That's all I got to tell you.
Okay. And that's essentially, that's part of the decision-making process. All we were doing was offering the opportunity to the people on Flashy Lane, the possibility of a culvert in the story.
We weren't talking about replacing the culvert in their driveway, we were talking about a culvert of their entire front.
From the
If
north
they-
of the Flashy.
Right. And the only culverts we replaced on Axe, driveway or lane culverts that had to be replaced to come up to grade.
That were grossly
For the
out of
flow.
elevation.
Right. But we did not do any culverts just in somebody's frontage,
Right.
okay? So I don't know what the issue is
What-
here.
What other responses did you get from Flashy Lane, from the other people?
I've had two people say no, and, which is fine.
Well,
There's no wrong or right answer.
Yeah.
All it was
The
was
water
true.
flows either way.
Yeah.
okay, well, I just got information and and it wasn't just from, Jeff was the one that I got the questions from.
Is Jeff
Recently.
Minister?
We serve the people, you know that, Doug, you're being facetious.
Anything else for
Yeah.
We have districts.
We have districts so that we can be specially serving, but we have served the whole people.
So you're going to
Doug.
get settled out.
Doug, do we not all serve everyone? We do,
That's a-
don't we?
That's a question for you. Anyway,
Yeah, this is not something that was done, under cover of darkness. Doug, you discussed this with the council and basically got consensus that we would be okay if you went ahead with it. I mean, this was not something that was done in secret.
We didn't get a discussion of this, and when I was asked at P&Z when I came late, P&Z was questioning why.
Well, I
They
don't see
didn't
what
know
P&Z
about
has
this.
to do with any of this.
Well, they were just.
We're talking drainage, and we're talking about, we're gonna have to do a ditch here, and we're offering the homeowner, if you wanna buy the culvert, we will go ahead and install it for you, and you'll have a beautiful place. And we won't have a ditch to clean anymore. And it's a win-win for everybody. So I don't understand the P&Z involvement at all.
Well, I'll bring up what I stated before. First and foremost, communication of what the town is doing and has done would help alleviate a lot of citizen frustration and lack of confidence in town affairs. That is what the point is.
Planning and zoning does planning and zoning.
Well, planning and zoning, the people of planning and zoning were all looking at this letter. They had it, each one had a copy. So I thought, well, I want to know what that letter is. So after it was over, I asked, can I have a copy of that letter? Okay? So I just try to help everybody. I'm not sure why you guys have a problem with that. But,
I don't have a problem with you.
Anything else for the report?
yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay, a request for a copy of Dr. McPherson's medical director agreement with the fire department, and did the town attorney help with this negotiation? So Debbie, you can send that to me if you, and then there were several other drainage issues pointed out, which I believe we could solve rather simply, but by just clearing a way for water to move. Not a real big drainage project, just simple ones. There are several drainage engineers that would be more than happy to volunteer a bit of common sense expertise, and I find this very encouraging and neighborly. I think you found that too, haven't you? That there's quite a
I couldn't
few.
agree more. We're still, I sent a letter out for the ditcher that we purchased. It was supposedly shipped 2 weeks ago. I asked for a pro and a bill of lading and a carrier to see where it is, because I have the right, that will allow us to move fairly quickly through some of these areas.
Yeah, and I think a drainage group would be pretty good. It would be nice to have.
I think if we have civil engineers in the town that are willing to help, we should take advantage of their expertise.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Contact us.
I think, haven't you talked to a lot of them? I will contact them, but I just don't want them to be singled out or anything. Lastly, MCA Malabar Community Association will have their regular monthly third Saturday event, being a meet and greet Saturday evening at 5:30 until dusk, and always welcome. Last time there was some live music, food, and games. So, thank you.
Steve?
I'd just like to thank Mr. Hoyt for helping me resolve a problem. Someone dumped a load of about 25 tires in the ditch on Rivet Lane, right between my house and my neighbor's house. And Mr. Hoyt and I physically removed them from the back of his truck and will be properly disposed of. Thank you.
You're more than welcome.
That's all I have.
One drainage blockage removed.
Yes, the blockage removed
Happy election.
by the auxiliary public works.
Hey, Grant?
I have nothing tonight.
Dan? Me. I was gonna tell this to Brian during his speech, but I've been working for a couple months to move the 45-mile-an-hour speed signs. I think I've finally done all the hoops. What I'm trying to do is move the 45-mile-an-hour speed sign at Weber at least 100 yards further east to slow the traffic down to get to when they come to approach Weber. So hopefully we won't need a stoplight there anytime soon if I can get it to slow it down there.
Further west, you mean, to the
East, move
So farther
the
west.
head, it's 50 coming up.
Yeah, to
Heading
okay.
west.
affect the
And
westbound
then-
traffic.
Right, I
the
just want to
westbound
move it.
traffic.
I want to move it further east, and I showed them, that you're only 50 yards from the intersection, there's not enough time for people to slow down. So they agreed with me, and then the other one I'm getting moved is the one on Malabar Road in US 1. When they had the turn lanes there, the people that were heading north always had to worry about whether a turn lane person was going to hit them, so you never saw that sign. And the Brevard County Sheriff sits right at Yellow Dog, and you don't know the speed limit is 45 there, because you're coming off of Malabar, you never see the speed limit sign. So I asked him to move that one north, so that tells people, especially the people heading east on Malabar Road and turning north on US 1. So I'm getting that one moved further north. So now it's in the committee of the guys that actually do the work. So I passed all the directors, so I'm into that committee. So that's all I got. So, meeting adjourned.